See, it says it's recording up there. If you would like, click where it says the pause in the upper left-hand corner.
All right, we're ready to go. I am Pam Bliss, council member, and I'm going to be sitting in for Laura today, so I'm happy to be here and learn more about what is happening. I hear you're going to be working on Lifetime Achievement of the Arts.
That's
So,
right.
Yep.
So the first thing, the first order,
Are you the chair? No, somebody else is. Jan, or is Jan the chair? Who's the chair? Jan is the chair. She's not
Jan.
here?
me,
Yeah.
Oh, here comes,
Yeah.
here comes
Jan is chair.
more.
Because
of
of
the-
Jan and Janice.
Yeah,
So,
you-
sorry.
I know, there they are, see,
Hey,
Morning.
good morning. So the first thing is order is to approve the minutes.
And I move. I second.
Sorry.
Sorry.
So that was pretty quick, minutes are quick.
Well, or seconded and then we vote.
Oh, that's right. Did everyone vote to approve the minutes?
Hi. I.
Here.
Maybe we should have a separate person take the minutes from that who's. Then
I
you don't
know.
have to do two things at once.
I know, well,
Can
it's
somebody-
okay either way, I'll type afterwards, but unless someone else who wants to take the minutes.
Someone else available to take the minutes and then,
I can take them.
okay,
Okay.
thanks, Janice. Okay.
So that's, okay,
Jan.
Jan. Let's take notes if I need it. All right. And so you'll take everybody that's present, right? So I guess the first order here is the Lifetime Achievement in the Arts. You see the notes that say Laura's gonna take care of food.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and invitations. But Judy, you already contacted some people, right?
I have only one speaker lined up. I'm working on, the whole idea was trying to maybe have somebody from the family, somebody from the city museum, somebody who worked with him to do the hours. No success in getting to the family. I don't, nobody, either they're not speaking,
Or
the
they're
widow and the
busy.
city museum, there's a lot of friction. So I don't have a contact. If anybody wants to take that on, I haven't figured out how to get it. So
Or someone else. that
Who is
know-
your
that knew that?
recipient?
Bob Castle.
Okay,
So first we had this period of time where I started this because I knew that Josephine Weil was a friend of Bob Castle's and he had done her garden. So I thought she would be a good person to have help us and speak. She doesn't want to speak, but she did caution us that we should make sure that Gail Castle, the ex-wife, approved of this because she in the past has not endorsed other such things. So she's okay with us, so that's fine. She's not coming, but she would.
Okay,
she will
So
pick
then-
it.
okay, so no
Okay.
families really coming to this.
Well, I mean, Gail is family, but then there's children and the widow, but I don't have a way to contact them. As I said, the people at the city museum there, they have had some of
They
sort
don't
of
have relationship
history.
with the family.
Exactly.
Talked
Right.
about,
So they won't give you the
Jerry?
names of the children?
They just don't have the contact. What I need is contact information. Well, they don't keep in touch with them, so.
maybe
Who-
they,
Who's running the museum then?
Well,
They have a board, I guess.
Yeah,
And
I
the
mean,
children, and the
person-
children don't have anything to do with the museum, I guess.
no,
or not.
my
Okay.
understanding
I'm
is
just-
they
I'm
don't,
just
yeah, I know, it does
asking.
seem strange, it does.
So, is-
So the person I was advised to get in touch with was Rick Irwin, who's been wonderful. So he's going to come talk. And he's willing, and he had recommended some of Bob's assistants who had worked on the apples, but the one he thought was most likely willing to talk so far is not willing to talk. So that's where we are.
So, we
So
just
maybe
have-
we just have Rick Irwin. and
maybe that's
yeah.
enough, or that somebody mentioned in the notes, that somebody said, what about Jerry?
Yes, so I thought that the idea was to get somebody from the city of Webster who worked with him when the apples were put in place. And I have emailed Jerry, I've texted her, and I've
Not
called
yet, and-
both her landline and her cell. So I don't know if
And she's been kind of.
she just hasn't responded, so I'm
She's
wondering
been
if
like,
she's.
I'm just from my own, not me, but
Yeah.
other people in my family that I live on the same street. I live 2 houses down from her. And she just kind of, I think she
Well,
just
I know
kind of
she
like
has to
doesn't, I
help.
think she's on her big vacation or something.
I
Well,
didn't
she
think
said-
she's vacay,
Yeah.
was,
She's also had problems, family problems with health.
Right,
So
she's-
I
and
think
her own
that's-
health has been an issue, so
Oh,
that's what
I don't
heard.
say, I really haven't,
yeah,
and
yeah.
normally things that, events that she normally had before, like she's had
Right.
dinners or whatever, she hasn't been doing.
Right.
And so I'm guessing you're right.
Right, so
I'm not a nosy person, so.
She might not even be here because she's got, is it a sister that's in Houston?
yeah, she has a sister.
And she had a problem. The sister
Yeah. it could
fell
be.
and
Right, right.
needs constant. So they met, she
Yeah.
met me down in Houston.
Right, right. So anyway, that was our hope. I mean, the other person I could get in touch with is Jennifer Conrad, because she may also know someone who would have been. But I don't have current contact information for her either, so I guess I can get it
But
here.
if we have one speaker, it's probably all right.
Yeah, we will have whatever we have, I
Yeah.
think, yeah.
And
I-
we're doing other things, part of the event too. I mean, what about what's happened with the children?
Yeah, Maud's been working on that.
Okay,
when we get to that.
so
And Judy, I'm sorry, go back. Rick Irwin is who?
Rick Irwin, he's at the City Museum. I would have to check his
I'll check his
email
title.
signature.
Okay.
Yeah. So remind myself what his job is there.
I mean, he
My-
manages the whole museum. He's the president, I believe, or I don't know, but I mean, he's the.
Yeah. My query was more to the person who would feel comfortable and want to
Mhm.
speak, so that's how I got to him.
Yeah,
He's
Okay,
been-
so this will be held outside,
Right, in the.
that little gazebo by the old, where the.
Cute. Right. And I think we're still planning on having apples. Right? And
Yeah,
apple-
is there a food, did the mayor give you a food update? Because she said that.
I know Laura said she was,
Laura,
she said she's gonna,
she said she spoke with the person at the little cake pop place.
Oh, right,
And
right.
giving me 50 cake pops and I forget, and I will look at the email, a new bakery to provide 50
so,
cookies. She said that would be $200, which would leave us $200 for cider and cups, et cetera.
So.
do you, what time did we say, do you know what time?
3 to 5.
Do you think that there'll be, I wonder if there'll be that many people?
Well, the
Well,
thing
it-
is that there's gonna be the trick or treating going on at that
Yeah.
time with the businesses. So, so I would wonder if we'd wanna consider anything within the budget for signage, like to direct people down to the gazebo. Or,
But
but,
just
and
let them
then,
know what's going on.
yeah,
This
just
is-
that it's-
definitely
Just
letting
the
them.
sandwich
Community
board.
event or something, so people know
Yeah.
they can just.
Or.
they usually put together, I think a map of the different locations. I don't know if that's happened yet, but if it's possible to connect with like the Old Orchard Business Association, maybe they would include us if it's not already printed.
Do you have a connection at the Old Orchard? Would anybody be willing to call them? I can, if I have.
With
contact, I would-
the business district,
Yeah, just to let them know that it's going on in their district on a day of trick or
Um,
treating.
you can ask Katie, I'm not sure who the chair is of that commission. but
Is there
that's
contact
it.
information on the web or, okay, Who's Katie?
Katie Nakasano is the city clerk, so after this
Okay.
meeting, you can go ask her, and then probably get Jennifer's
Right,
contacts
right.
info.
I could-
I
Yeah.
could email for Jen too if I don't run into Katie, but
Yeah.
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 I'll contact Old Orchard Business to see if we can get in on that. Along those lines with, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to go out. of
No,
order.
that's okay.
Are we putting up flyers like at Straub's or any other place?
Well, Jenny contacted me about doing the guest list. I passed on to her some of the names, which I think include the names of the kids, so.
Okay.
But for invitations, but that's all I know.
So the
about.
family member, you got approval by the current, the widow. And then his
Well,
first,
you
his
just-
first wife is the one you've talked to?
I didn't talk to her directly, but.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you could get the names from the children from her.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure she would have, I don't
They're-
know.
they're not-
Anyway, I think we have.
All right, I'm just asking.
I know.
It's
It would
just a
be a
curious
shame
thing.
not to have the kids there. I agree.
Yeah.
But unless,
So,
unless
It
they
is what it is. I
Who
understand.
knows what that is,
Mhm.
but so the time is 3 to 5 on
The 28th.
the 28th.
Saturday, the 20th. And so presumably, Jan, you will sort of run it. I'm out of town that weekend, so I.
October 28th.
And what about setup? What do we need to do for setup? What time do we need to get there?
What, we want to get back to the children's activities.
So with children's activities, Novel Neighbor has a nonprofit entity and they have an activity to make bookmarks out of recycled materials, recycled books. And they actually have an Apple theme that they're going to incorporate into it. And there's no cost for this, but it may be nice to make a nominal donation to their nonprofit for this service, especially if they get a volunteer to staff it. If there's no volunteer, then I'll staff it. They're gonna walk me through what the activity is and I'll do that.
And the same time the trick or treaters are gonna be,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, so making, and I think that that's enough.
I think it is.
I was thinking that I could go out and buy some like additional crafting, but I think one little craft activity with some cake pops or a cookie to take is
Well, I
very
think-
nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
because most of the time we don't do, when we're honoring someone, we don't do that
No.
for the kids, no.
It's just more because there is that sort of kid activity that's happening in the immediate area, so.
And this is a
Well,
different time of day.
And so are we gonna be hanging
Yeah.
at the, whoever's there, then we're gonna be where the gazebo is, which is really over by the apples, I was gonna say. By, it sounds crazy, by what, close by the Starbucks and that
McDonald's.
area. Well, right, well, yeah, McDonald's across the street, right, but isn't the gazebo just right, kind of
Right.
before you get
It's
to
that little.
So
sort
we're
of
just gonna
triangle.
be there.
Some reason I can never remember.
Yeah, and it's hard to say, people might be just passing by and.
Do we have sandwich boards or what kind of signage will we have to show that this lifetime achievement event will be going on there?
Right, we do have a sign
What do you
with
mean,
the
easels
Webster
or-
Groves Arts Commission with our logo, remember, we had that we.
I would think
used-
even the city has a sandwich board somewhere that you could just put a piece of cardboard in front of it with information.
Mhm, mhm.
Since I'm gonna talk to Katie, I can ask about a sandwich board. She could know somebody.
And then will the city print whatever's needed on it? And what would we need on it? What would the city print?
So it says about, we're gonna set up chairs.
Well, back to the, I mean, somebody should determine what we want to say, and then probably it could be done at,
There are
Yeah,
enough
sure.
benches over there, I bet, without having to set up chairs. And since it's 3 to 5, I don't think you're gonna get that much of a crowd.
I don't
We even didn't get that much of a crowd when we had our gazebo shows there.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't even worry about setting
agree.
up chairs.
I wouldn't either. I mean. I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, they got chairs and they've got tables with benches on them. I mean, it's good enough.
How long do you think Mr. Irwin will speak?
I said like 5
Okay,
minutes.
so yeah, it's not
It's not that
brief.
long.
And then he's taking the award back to City Museum, I guess.
Probably.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to make the award,
We have to make the,
right? Don't we?
Has that been ordered?
isn't that just a plaque?
I think so. It's gotta be made. I've never been involved in that part of it. so,
Me neither.
Okay.
I think it's just like a certificate put in the frame.
Right, framed
Oh,
certificate is
okay.
what I think, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nothing
Um,
much except for
It's got a
somebody to run
proclamation.
a certificate.
Right, so do we, who does that?
He doesn't have agendas.
That's what I
What was
said.
I
the
think you
last awardee, was
What do you
it,
think, Pam?
The brothers.
yes,
Not the.
Oh, it's
people
in
running the
order?
record store.
right, right.
Euclid.
And so who did that? Do we remember? I wasn't there for that. so.
It sounds like the list is getting longer, so you can probably coordinate with the staff liaison. It would
We
be
had a
Jenny,
lot of,
so-
for that, I think we had a few speakers. It was really,
Yeah, usually we
Right,
do have
we-
several, oh, is that like the, that one?
No,
Well,
I
two
don't
of
remember,
them.
I don't know how we did this with, I mean, everything else was. Right, just a frame, but for the past. Honorees.
oh, and then the other one we did was for the rep. Remember the former,
So,
Yes, Steve Wolf.
Yeah.
Yes.
so. Who does that? In other words, the. printing.
Jenny used to do
Yeah,
it.
Jenny coordinates.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the other question is at the city museum, how are you telling the people at the city museum that this event will be going on? Are you gonna send them a?
Well, I think,
Email?
they can, yeah, I don't know how Jenny is sending out the invitation. I'm assuming it is going to be an email. So,
So you give the names of everybody who works at the city hall.
well, I mean, there are several people there at the city
Yeah.
museum, so they'll receive.
Okay.
I can double check with Rick to make sure he.
So do you want me to talk to Jenny about ordering that frame and also the signage? And is there a program that is printed or?
We've
No
never
problem.
done that. And I think for this one, it's painted
Casual.
yeah.
She
I'm
probably
working, still
already has
concerned
a-
about, I'm still concerned about the actual, whatever we're gonna, the, not a plaque, but.
Well, that's what we're thinking that Jenny is
Jenny's
set up to
probably
do.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
format.
It's already formatted.
Right, I think she has it on her computer. It has to be printed out and then framed.
I can ask
So
Jenny
you'll
about
confirm
that.
that
Yeah.
with Jenny.
And shall I ask her also about signage for the
Invitations.
spot?
Yeah, yeah. Cause we should let people know what is actually going on.
Happening as they walk by.
Right.
And then in regards to setup, I get no chairs that may serve to be like a standing event, a short thing. I have a fair setup at home if I need it, like for a table and tent for the kids' activities, but like for food and whatnot. I mean, I'd prefer to not bring it since my fair
I don't
days are
think so.
done, but
I think, are there
But-
city hall tablecloths or anything like that?
We do have a Webster Groves. There are Webster Groves tablecloths. They're
Yeah.
green with.
Cause with the picnic
That would be-
benches there, I think you could just
Yeah.
put some tablecloths on them and then put the food on.
I'll ask Jenny about those.
Yeah.
Too.
about
Yeah.
tablecloth, and then also, I'll go back by there and see, like, we'll have a spot for food, but if we need an extra table for the, for craft, but I can also ask, maybe Novel Near, but we'll provide that too.
Do we need a sound system? Do we have a sound system?
Do we need to what?
A sound.
system.
Like a microphone.
There will be
A
something,
microphone,
but yeah,
yeah, there needs to be a microphone.
Yeah,
that'd be good
And a boom box.
to add to your list.
If we need a microphone.
just a small.
Yeah,
Who
little
has
thing.
Portable.
Does
Yeah.
the city
Just a
have?
microphone.
Yeah,
I
they
would-
will
Just a
have
little thing.
Mhm.
So then who would do it? I would just come over here and get it? Pick it up and take it over or? what?
Well, I think
I'll ask Jenny.
coordinate that,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll ask Jenny about all these
Yeah.
items and I'll
Well,
send an email to everybody to say this is what we got and.
Who will be the main speaker of the event? But Judy's
so
gonna be.
Jan as the
Okay.
chair and
Okay.
then Rick, so it'll be simple.
Okay.
So if we need things picked up or set up all the time, there's something out to
Yeah.
everybody and see what we can do.
Now, in the past, if the mayor is there, the mayor sort of
She
starts
probably
the
will,
day.
yeah.
Then you speak to introduce.
Which
to
is,
explain.
I just
And then-
introduced him.
Right, well,
Guest
welcome
speaker.
people that maybe a
Your
few words
process or
about
whatever,
why
yeah.
Bob Castley is being honored. What our criteria are for what the achievement, some connection to Webster Groves, a sort of major contribution to the arts in Webster and the city. Or have we ever given it to anyone whose major contribution's been outside? We tried to give it to we tried 2 authors, Jonathan Franzen, who
Mhm.
gave us the time of day, even though Lauren had a contact with her husband knew him. And then I tried to track down Jane Smiley, which she's from, but she never answered any of my emails, so I knew she wasn't keen on. So all of our recipients have been, maybe,
Current residents or nearby.
current residents born in, taught at Webster, affiliated with the theater, just a tie, some connection to Webster.
Mhm.
Like Gerald Early doesn't really
Mhm.
do
Well,
things
he
in
lives
Webster,
here.
but he lives here, yeah, and he's a major.
Yeah, right.
person.
Has he been awarded?
Mhm.
And then, so it starts at 3, so I guess when we send out a list of what needs to be done, people will show up at time to set up.
2, just to build a new Webster time.
I mean,
People will be out and about already there, right? So-
And then if, I just did a little search for the Apple chairs in Webster and online, and so there's a little bit about. That you can find quickly online about the history of the Apple chairs. That's helpful.
That would be.
Where are the apple chairs?
At Old
They're
Orchard.
back there.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
no chair.
They have migrated around, but they're back
Oh.
there.
Oh, okay.
I think they're
When did
in
I
your
start
place.
seeing-
I think that was their original place, yeah. But I think they
What was the
were
original place?
in
There,
Gazebo
Old
Park.
Orchard.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
and then
so-
also,
So there'll be food trays, I guess, for cookies and pops. Is that what?
I think it's
Food and drinks.
apples and pops and cider. right?
And then,
I mean, if they're out
by-
trick or treating, so
I'm sorry, no, I'm
No,
sorry.
we're not in the gazebo, if we probably put it there with the kid and kids would just come. Right, and grab it, or whoever wants it.
But I guess we'll need to.
So first we would introduce like around 3 and then just be there till 3 to 5.
well, if it's 3 to 5, I think probably start be 3:15.
Do you want to have
3:30
music or
3:30.
anything like that or something?
We have done music.
Get,
I don't think so, we're outside,
I think there's gonna be a lot of
okay,
yeah.
activity. and
Okay.
it
I
might
don't think we
not
need that.
really- yeah.
little
We're
soundtrack.
doing an awful lot for somebody that a family isn't even involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we're really doing it for
For
ourselves.
community,
Right.
a community thing.
yeah.
We've gotta think.
I love the apples.
Yeah,
That's right.
well, I think,
Yeah.
we didn't anticipate obviously this being the situation, but yeah, I can't even remember who it was who nominated.
I'd have to look at the.
I mean, it makes sense, I
Yeah.
know
Yeah, it's
comments
just-
about.
Yes.
receiving
So-
the awards.
Well,
In wrapping this up, because we won't have another meeting, so
Maybe we ought to get a cleanup committee sort of designated, just to make sure.
okay, so we need trash bags. right? To clean it, I mean, that would be the only thing, trash
Yeah,
bags.
it
for
won't
the-
be
Yeah,
allowed.
there are trash cans there, so.
Yes,
Are
but
they-
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, there are trash. cans,
So if we're the, whoever's there,
just pick
we
up.
will just pick up and clean it up,
Right.
and I think we can do that, and. So if we have speakers around, what, 3:15? And then, yeah, that's about it, we're just,
Chat and nowhere else.
yeah. Now, it's not supposed to rain, I was just, no, I know, but I thought we should, I should mention that, because in case.
We'll all go to Starbucks.
Okay,
There you
I
go.
mean, here's.
You know what, there's Webster University has a rehearsal space. That's nearby, maybe.
Well,
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 John
that
was-
gets real
John was going
complex,
to
they're
look
very
into
lock
whether
and
we
key,
could
I'm,
go-
I
No,
have
I
not been
know,
there,
that's what
so-
I'm thinking.
and they're very into the codes and keys and, but I mean, if we needed to, I
Well,
could.
John was going to look into whether we can
Ask.
hold the event at Webster Arts.
right, I think
Um,
we can.
Oh, Webster Arts would be the, yeah,
Oh, okay,
that would
that
be
John is
easy.
going to
That's
look
walkable.
into that, no,
Well, I
we-
can ask
We've got a
Patrick,
meeting, I think I got a meeting tonight for programs. I can find out.
Yeah.
oh,
if-
that'd
if
be
you can
great,
find
just
out-
as in case for like,
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be perfect,
I don't think we'll have any problem.
yeah.
cause that's close.
Yeah,
That'd
could
be
you
good.
like send an
Easiest.
email to everybody and say, yeah, this is a backup, so just. follow.
Okay.
That sounds like a good idea.
Way better.
Uh-huh.
And then if we have the sign, that'd be great, we'll just,
Move the
Sign.
signs, yeah.
Now,
and then with.
we
with
don't
an-
have a sign though, do we have to make a sign?
Well,
Well,
I'm
that's
gonna
what
talk
she's
to
gonna-
Jenny about that.
And see if she can, a little sign there.
Yeah.
Do you
Um,
think that we, before that, let's see, can we put a blurb in the Webster Kirkwood Times or anything, or?
Well, I think we should have a little write-up
Mhm.
on just the announcement of the ceremony.
I would
Right, so
say
I was thinking
ask
maybe
her-
there would be,
Asking about invitations,
Yeah, we
that's gonna
should.
be posted.
We have that full page towards the end of every month, so we can,
like on the
Yeah.
website,
no, full page
In
in the
in
Webster
Kirkwood
Kirkwood
Webster.
Times.
Yeah,
it talks
right,
about
right.
community events, and we can just make sure she puts it at the top. There's also a Friday page that goes out, I don't know if you guys
Right.
are, yes, subscribe to that, so those are, and then Facebook.
okay, that would be
So,
good, just in case.
Yeah, so that's
yeah,
kind of Jen's typical
thing that she
way to
does.
get things out there, and so it'll be kind of perfect timing. for-
So when I contact Jen, I'll copy everybody in the
Got it.
email, if I've forgotten
Sorry,
anything,
I already called it.
or you guys think of
What do
something
you
else,
call
you
it?
just.
Great,
Yeah,
that's great,
Okay.
excellent.
So you should have a flyer at the Webster Arts. Fair,
So-
too.
Possibly.
Yeah, so people know, people who are there.
Alright, so-
Sounds like it's coming together.
Okay, yeah. So we get Jenny to work on this. Also, the cleanup we know about. Richard is his name, right? That's gonna talk. Richard or Rich?
Rick or
Rich.
Oh, Rich, okay.
I'm sorry.
Rick.
No, I think it is Rick.
Rick,
Rich Irwin, yeah, ERW.
okay.
Yeah. And also I did contact, I contacted, the person that Rick told me to be in touch with at City Museum about children's activities, and I also
Rick.
contacted You Can Do about children's activities. And they're both like, that's the weekend before Halloween, like we're insanely
Yeah.
busy,
Yeah.
so.
I think it's good you got it through now.
But
Yeah,
But I
Good to
still
know.
went ahead and,
I-
yeah,
I don't
Mm.
expect there'll be that many because of during that time, as you said, that's when the kids are gonna come through Webster. I don't expect it. You won't have hordes of kids all looking for activities.
we actually, I revised this, I'm pulling up my email, we did have the son and daughter-in-law. We have their phone numbers.
Oh,
Okay.
you do, so you're gonna check
Yes.
with them to see if they can.
There, well, I passed this along, the idea was that they're being invited. I could ask if he would like to speak, I'll call him and see if he would.
Okay, so you're gonna follow up with Sunday.
Yeah, Max Caslett, so I will follow up, yeah.
that'd be awesome.
That's great.
Just a note that I had reached out to the library about activities too, but I hadn't heard back. Should I just kind of say that we're set and we don't need, I think we probably are, but. Okay,
Yeah, we are, but if they have free activities, things already pulled together, like
Well, if they,
those little bags that they leave out, we could take some and have them as an option.
okay, I'll just let them know that we don't need them to lead anything, but if they have anything that they think they would like to set out and promote their.
that'd be great.
I'm talking like a dozen to 20.
Okay.
Thing, like little bag, those little activity bags they do.
So Judy, if they do say they'll speak, will you send an email to
Yeah.
everybody so that we
Yes,
can?
yeah. And actually, his brother lives in Webster Groves too, but we don't have contact information, but I'll try. Steve Castle, is anybody know Steve?
Google.
Okay, so.
I'm gonna try whatever I can.
So yeah, I'll try that too, Steve.
So we're kind of, I think
So
we're
you're
set
getting
with this now, pretty well.
Broader base.
Gee, that should be under Webster voter registration.
Can you access that online?
I don't know, but the city would know. At one time, I mean, in the historical preservation, we used to have a list of everybody in town, so I'm sure there's something here in the government.
Is that Castley Builders,
I don't know.
architect, general contractor in
Could
Webster
be.
Groves?
Well, it can't be, there's too many.
I know that it isn't like a super common name, so.
You could always
Just
call them and
yeah,
ask.
Right, that's the way to do
So,
it.
like,
Is there a phone number on it? I can.
Swan Avenue.
On Swan.
oh, well, sounds like a resident.
968.
Oh.
0999.
All right. Oh, wow.
So,
And their
Judy's
home,
gonna
it's
send
not-
them
there's
over
nothing-
Yeah, okay, a lot of times, for their homes.
It's gotta be a home because it's not. part
Yes,
of
right, it's not some business. Okay,
okay, so I think we're okay and we'll get emails and then whatever. I
Yeah,
need to do.
whatever, I'll ask Jenny about all these things that we were, we said you could do, and if we need to do it, we'll send it out. and-
Right, and then
Or
let me
by
know
email
what,
or
if there's something
email.
else you want me to.
Yeah.
To do, I will. So I'd like to then move on to another topic. And I've been thinking about this for a while and being on this committee. I generally listen to everybody else because I just moved back and, well, now it's 7 years, but I don't make that many comments, but I am going to now. About the banners, about a list of sign up for businesses. The businesses that we received were all arts businesses, and I don't understand that. I don't understand why we would ask the art people to supply banners. I think the whole area should help do that. I don't think, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, why would you ask the poor artists to contribute to their own art? I don't understand
Yeah, the
that.
art organizations don't have the money to invest into a banner, and I've called a couple.
No, and so like,
It's
I guess what
just-
I'm saying is, overall, if we think of it in a global way about Webster now, is that, see, I'm looking at the banks and going, why aren't we asking the banks? They're the ones with the money, not the little galleries that that are featuring artists. Why would you ask? They don't have that much money. So if we're doing if we do banners at all, then it seems that the whole business district, whether even the banks could afford to contribute to that, because it keeps the whole area alive, not just so like other than Webster Arts, like the different galleries have here. I can't imagine that we're gonna ask them to pay for their own banner. I don't know, that's just me. I'm thinking that we should try to think about not just asking them, but ask all businesses to contribute. Actually, you could even ask citizens if do you want to donate $15 to put some banners out? Instead of just, that's because all I saw on the list was that we should like talk to the arts people, and I'm like,
And this is really a city thing.
I think it
And we're
is.
supposed to be, of course, the city hasn't decided yet whether we're city of the arts. But
Mhm.
this is what we're pushing for,
Mhm. Mhm.
and it should be just the all
should be the whole
encompassing
community.
thing.
Yeah,
If
so
we- If we have to, why can't we use our old banners that say City of the Arts? I mean, instead of going into all of this
I
and
agree.
just clean them up or
I agree.
put, print 'em.
Repurpose them, and it's either that or what does it, I guess the other question for another time. Or another meeting is to ask, what does it mean, the Webster City of the Arts? I'm just throwing it out, what does that mean, what differentiates? What's the differentiation between Webster and Kirkwood or with our banners there, the City of the Arts, because we have art galleries?
Well, we were designated in 2000, I don't know, 18, something like
Yeah.
that. City of the Arts, I'm curious if there was a proclamation at the time.
I think
that-
there was.
It was, because it
Liz,
came
I
from
think
the,
so.
came from the
Yeah,
state.
From the state.
Yeah, but I'm saying for now, when you think.
But it
of-
was like,
But
we were,
Right.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it wasn't it that we were like designated a Missouri artistic community or something like that? It wasn't like we were City of the Arts, like we kind of
right,
adopted that
exactly,
as a
right,
result of that being one of the artistic communities,
Yeah.
but we are one of many, not the only.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
I just feel like in moving forward, in my view, as a art person and how I made my living, that asking the artists to contribute, they might be able to, but we should really try to get, it could be the hardware store. You know, I mean, it makes it better for everyone, right? For all the businesses. It could be Paisley. Maybe she won't be able to afford very much, but if she gives $100 from her, so it seems to me that then it would be more encompassing than just asking the art people.
I think,
Do you have a budget for making new banners?
No, that's
I
why
mean-
we were all.
yeah.
Trying to get
that's
somebody
the-
to pay for
It's
it.
self-sustaining.
No, I mean, do you have a
Oh.
cost to print
Yes.
the banners?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jenny does that, right, right.
Jenny has the cost. See, so I was thinking that I mean, I think some people, even some citizens wouldn't mind, maybe it's, I don't know how we would do that, but maybe it's somebody saying, oh, well, I'll give, $20 or I'll give $25. I mean, if you think of the what people that live here, if they might be willing to do that, then that would
I
help.
think a question is, do we want these to be banners that reflect the different artistic organizations? Because I understand what you're saying, Jan, I really do, in terms of like, why is it that we're trying to basically like promote ourselves within these arts organizations and yet asking them to help us do that, and that can feel kind of icky in a way, but
think so.
so it does promote them. And so I'm concerned if I don't know, and I don't mean to be, I guess, callous, but I don't know why if a bank is going to donate, then a bank is usually going to say, I want my logo on it, or I
Yes.
want recognition. And
Well,
so,
no, they can't. They can say what they want, but too bad.
but I don't
no.
think you're gonna, then I don't think you're gonna get.
I
donations.
don't
They
think
have-
they're
they-
all that altruistic about being.
They have to
Maybe.
get,
How do
something.
we know if we don't?
You know,
I'll talk to them. How do
It's
we
part
know?
of advertising right now, if you like,
I don't know.
digital strike or whatever, if you go, I've had meetings there. for
At-
my
at the
business.
bank?
And no, I had a meeting there, and the whole thing about advertising is getting your logo somewhere, and that is, they're going to
Will,
demand that, that's just the
well,
way.
can't you put it in tiny print like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, no, I'm not
Well,
saying that you can't.
They
do
get
it.
sponsored, but they like tiny print, but the rest of it would
well,
be all
bank
about.
wise, PNC is supposed to have, are supposed to support the arts. They have a special grant in their whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can contact them, and that could be something
Mm.
where PNC Bank promotes the arts in Webster.
Well, the other way to do it is to ask them, I mean, if talking to them, in fairness, whatever they would, if, let's say, one of the banks here, instead of posting it on the banner, you can put it on the website, these people have contributed.
That's where they really
And
want
we
it,
tell
they
them-
want it on the internet.
That'd be fine. I think that would be fine, rather than the banner, then we can thank all of these people that have donated to do this. It seems like that would
It
be
would-
it.
More than the banners, I actually think that we should be looking into the major banks that are around here and seeing what they do, like you said.
The problem
PNC.
is that usually if you go into the bank, there's nobody to talk to.
Yes,
And
Yes.
there's usually a national,
right, they're not
Right.
locally.
But it could be that that's who you end up needing to talk to no matter what, because the people working at the bank are just like,
They don't
I
know.
don't wanna
They-
say
they have
they're
nothing. But
just-
that, it was just a thought, because they're here and I'm like, well, it seems it might take some time. I don't mind going to talk to them, trying to find someone to talk
May I
to.
ask a question just about what we would have on the banners? I mean, I love the idea of promoting the different entities, like, why are we City of the Arts? Because we've got
Yeah.
opera, because we've got.
That's
Mayor
right.
Burr, because of-
Well-
So would we still have the individual items and if, or organizations? And if it were funded by who? How do we choose? I mean, versus somebody going, well, you know, I'm an artist, why isn't my art, do you know what I mean? How do we? how do
Yeah,
we
but
select?
first, if we're just doing, if we're
So-
talking just banner wise, so, I mean, banks is one, but then some of the other businesses that aren't arts, I think some, you know, like I said, we're not talking lots of money, but that they might, and then we would have it on the website, these people contributed to this, and we wouldn't run into the issue of, you know, how to pay for it.
But again, who would be,
Right.
if it's being paid for out of the city, how are those, or
Because
what's
we
the
only have so many
criteria?
banners.
What's the
Yeah,
criteria?
there's not like a horde of them.
Yeah,
Donnie,
right.
what were you gonna say? You
First of all, I wanna say, I really appreciate that you've had misgivings, and I'm sorry they haven't come up before this, to be honest.
I have had misgivings about this, yes.
Yeah, and I wanna respect your misgivings, but I personally am really uncomfortable making a decision at this point about that kind of thing without some of the other people in the room.
Oh,
We've
yeah,
done a
no.
whole lot of
Yeah,
work
yeah.
on the banners, particularly Alec, who's done invested.
Oh, no,
in a
no.
lot of-
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're not.
Oh, no, I'm
Okay.
just bringing it up now to be
Okay.
thinking about how we
Okay.
might, I'm thinking about moving forward about how we would do this. Whether we revive the old banners, which were really good, or new ones. And
Because ever
then,
since
and
I-
involve more of the whole community rather than ask the art galleries to.
I think it would be useful for me anyway, to have a list of what the banners we would, I don't have it in front of me, I don't know, I'm
Yeah.
sure we've been given it and I've lost it, because that would not be unusual. And in fact, I was going to ask about finding the list of the businesses that we had talked about approaching, because that was one of our banner items here. that we were-
So, Jen sent that around as an attachment, it's an Excel file.
Yeah,
And
And I-
is your name on some of those business lists? Yeah.
yeah, and I
Um,
don't have any, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so I see so my perspective on the banners was that this was a way to freshen up, update the banners.
Yeah.
And it would be advertising for those arts businesses.
Yes.
If the goal is not to give these businesses an advertising option, and it's instead just to. But if the goal is more about like reinvigorating the theme around arts in the city of Webster Groves, then we need to either look at our budget to see what we can cover and identify other grants possibly
That's
to
true,
cover it, which could be a grant from a bank.
That's right. And
but-
we've had some changes in membership since we started this conversation, refurbishing. That was over a year ago that we started. I think my very first meeting I came here, it was, what are we
Right.
gonna do about the banners? And a lot of it was because they were starting to look ratty.
But
and
then,
needed to be updated and not
Absolutely.
shredded and faded and.
but then the
you know.
other question is if we do individual promotion rather than a generic one,
Right.
one design,
Oh.
then you can't, then it's hard to pick.
Yeah, I
winners and
wasn't
choosers.
thinking that. I was thinking
Beth,
to keep the
at one
same.
time you did research on all the arts in Webster. Remember, we're gonna put something together, and I think you were gonna even get pictures of the different organizations and
That's
what they
right.
had. So we have a list of music, art, everything.
Wasn't that Beth?
I'm
We were
sure
doing
it
that?
was you.
Yeah, well, That was sculptures, so that was the
Just
sculpture.
That
sculpture?
was the sculpture.
Oh, okay, cause I thought we had it all. that
There
we
is
had
a list of
list.
the arts organizations though online. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yes,
Cause
there
we
is.
did have that listed also under Webster Arts Commission at one
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
And so we probably should go back and see what we've got
Yeah, so-
and use that as a promotion of what happens in the city.
yeah, I wasn't thinking that we would, like, for instance, the banners, if whether we refurbish them or use the same ones, or they're quite good, that it would be promoting one art gallery or art store. It would be, that's just as City of the Arts. So that if it's just a City of the Arts, my thought was is that instead of just asking the art people to give, because it's not promoting one store or
No.
one gallery, that's why I thought, well, the whole town could. If we put it in a word it in the right way, whether it's a bank or one of the little businesses, that they would say they would help to, because it would be good for them, just because.
Just to have not ratty signs out in front of.
Right, that's exactly
Well, I mean,
right.
and wasn't that the origin of it way back?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
They were starting to look faded
Yeah,
and,
maybe you can have them taken down for now and then,
I mean,
And
Well,
get 'em-
yeah.
and so that would be,
Until we
you know what I
can
mean,
replace
that,
if they're not looking good, then.
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
Good.
I have to say, I mean, I also am sympathetic to the point you're making. I do think having individual aspects of the arts in Webster featured on these banners is much more vibrant and exciting than simply generically City of the Arts.
that
I
would be
don't-
different though,
Just your point, it would be different.
because now we haven't done that ever.
Well, that's what we're talking about doing though, right? I mean, that's what we're saying, that we're going to feature the rec or the opera theater or whatever.
Within,
So to the point of how we raise money for this, I'm cynical enough to think that a bank or someone, they're not gonna give us their marketing money unless they have a nice featured
Well-
logo. But a collective fund, you know, we've been trying, how many years, Maryland, to raise money for public sculpture? And we used to have a pig, do you remember? That we took to events to get contributions. We made
Okay.
no, I mean, that was not our sole.
that's best.
That just happened to be a
Well,
fun thing.
supposedly, we're not supposed to make money,
But we have
because
that.
we're part of the government.
But we've been trying to.
Yeah, just
So there's a
promote.
specific foundation.
it would be different, again, at the banners, if you're talking about each banner would be about one gallery. Or,
But I thought we were,
That's what we were
That's what we
talking
were
about.
talking
right?
about.
but if that would be,
but we,
Have you all considered making a subcommittee up front of the banner?
We did.
Alex was behind it.
Yeah, yeah, when Alex is here, we should talk about it, because he's put a lot of time.
Yeah,
into this.
okay,
But I think
Maybe
that's a
circle
great
back.
way
I mean, if
to
you want
proceed.
to, I think, here's, I guess, what, as I, big picture. If we want to revisit the whole issue of the banners, that's a big topic.
it is,
Because there's a lot of stuff has been invested in it for at least a year. So I think we should make that clear and not like the day before we have the meeting. So that people who may have had conflicts and couldn't get to specific things
oh, sure.
could plan time ahead to be able to speak to the
To
issue.
this.
And I would primarily say Alex is feeling a hard,
Yeah,
hard.
whether,
hard
whether,
work on
it's
that.
basically whether or not we continue as banner saying City of the Arts, or if you're gonna say name one specific art.
I thought historically that we were talking about City of the Arts being the embracing
Yes,
ideal.
yes,
And then the individual organizations in there
Right.
would have a presence on the banner. I'd have to go back and look at.
That'd be hard.
Yeah, it would say City of the Arts.
Actually, I think Alex shared with us a markup.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
just,
right, right.
they can't-
I think what we really need is a composite design that shows the different arts that we have, you know, performing, music, all of them, and encompass it. And this has been done many times.
yes.
And
So
maybe
you're
add the
thinking not
logo.
specific organizations, but music, dance.
that's what I was thinking too.
It would
rather
be
than
a-
individual.
Well, this-
It would solve everything, because if one art organization gets it, others, even though they can't afford it, will feel bad because they've been left out. And this way, if it's generic, but just says all the arts that we support,
I
for
think that
doing
would
it.
be better.
And then possibly even make a nice little story to go for the Webster Critical Times on all that Webster has to offer in all the arts.
Mhm. Well, cause I was gonna say, otherwise the banners as they are, if you're now somewhere, then you have to say what a particular gallery or.
It sounds like you
Well-
need to have your person here
Yeah.
Well,
and
I'm-
have a
yeah,
continued
I'm so- and
discussion
it's-
when he's here.
Yeah, yes, I agree, and I also, and I think that's just fair to that
Mhm.
amount
Yeah.
of
Oh,
work
no,
and
of course,
dedication.
of course.
And then I think the other thing is I thought we were targeting more organizational things that did have some resources for
Mhm.
advertising. More than we were targeting individual smaller things, but I'm willing to be completely wrong about that.
Because
I'm wrong.
initially we were just sent, it was all the art, it was like Webster Arts or the, I wanna call it the Green Gallery, but the gal, you know, like, it was, those were listed
Right.
as, and so that's why I was like, I'm not sure about this.
Well, I will say that I feel like I feel like what was asked for them like is a very, I mean, I understand that these are not rich organizations. Certainly some have bigger marketing budgets like the Rep and Opera Theater, that those have fairly large marketing budgets, but for what they're getting, it was a nominal cost in my mind, in terms of like that we're not trying to make money on this proposition. We're just trying to cover costs and give them
Right.
some.
It was like
exposure.
$500, and then, and again, I don't even know what.
No,
the
it
cost
wasn't even
is
that.
now.
It was like $100.
I think it was
wasn't
much less.
It was like $100 for.
Maybe then what we're saying is we would like to, with a lot of new members, we would like to just review what we have planned and see if we want to make a change in any way.
Right,
And in order to do that, I think we should like after this meeting,
That could be-
within the week, we need to let people know that at the next meeting, that would be the major
I think it would
topic.
be a good,
Does
a
that
good
make
topic.
sense?
He has to be there, but I
Of
also
course.
think even
And he
though
can
John
submit.
isn't around,
He
because
can
he's the
submit.
one that designed the
He did.
banner.
Yeah,
He was a very big promotion on that.
yeah.
I don't know if he'd want to attend again.
I can ask him, I can
Anybody's
ask him.
in tent, right?
I can ask him, I don't know, he's just overwhelmed with his own personal, selling his house.
Mhm.
There's new, but I'll ask him if he. See
So
if he
just
would
to
come
attend
he could
that
attend,
one meeting.
Yeah.
Even
Not
if he
to
comes
do
for a short
anything.
while.
Yeah. or-
Yeah. and to see what his,
But if that is what we need to do, I think we just need to make it include.
I think that
really
would be a good
inclusive.
one, yeah,
Mhm.
and.
And
then go
soon.
from there,
Because a lot of time has already gone by.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it has,
It has.
Right.
If I can just back up a little bit, because as I'm thinking, because I've only been to a couple meetings in the past on this. And personally, I love the idea of featuring what makes us City of the Arts, not just saying, because I can say, I am
Mhm.
fabulous. Well, why?
exactly.
But
yes,
because I
thank
got
you.
this, I got this, I got this, and I love the idea of featuring different arts organizations to show what makes us the city of the arts, and also to promote them, to bring people into the city, and to help them do better as well. I understand your point about cost. It is for at least 2 years, so when I saw that, I thought, "Well, that's not a bad deal, but I saw a cost of what was initially it was asked like 500. What is the actual? I think what we also need to know is what is the actual production cost? What is
Yeah,
the
we need to know that, I don't.
so?
think they
And
know
is that something we can just ask people about? So is more modest for everybody. But if we, I personally really like the idea of featuring different specific organizations. And if organizations are not asked to help support their own banner, then we need some criteria for selecting the organizations.
Actually, I think when we were talking about it last, we were saying that the organizations that didn't have as much money, we would give them some kind of a discount. You know, so like people like the Rep and the Opera Theater would just figure they already have a budget, so you don't need to worry about that. But we were actually going to be understanding of organizations that didn't have
Well,
marketing budgets.
or is it also, if you have, I was thinking long term, so we pay all this money for the banners. And if you. I guess I'm thinking practical, so then after a year or two, like you still have, then you have that you spot, if you have one individual on that banner, I was trying to think if there's a way that you could have something. When you're featuring a certain gallery that would, in addition to the banner, would be more generic dance. Music,
Yeah,
like we're
or
saying.
an icon
And
of a theater, like an opera.
Right,
I
and
mean,
then,
like a cartoon, something.
yeah, and then, and then how,
Together with the
maybe you could
specific
feature,
organization or in lieu of the
Yeah.
specific
then there would be something else that would be featuring that, then this month we're featuring so-and-so gallery, or we're featuring.
That's a very, very good idea.
That way, I'm just thinking cost-wise, so, because if you put it on the banner. Now for a year or two, it's just that so-and-so gallery, but if you don't have it on there, but you have just, like you said, dance or music or. And then, but if there's something else that we could come up with, whatever that would be, that features, and it could be in the Kirkwood time, Webster Times too. This month we're featuring gallery, so-and-so.
Yeah.
How would that be, doing something at Webster Kirkwood Times, how would that relate to that?
Well, that's the thing, I don't know,
Just information.
just information, but you're right, I'm just saying. I hate, if you put it on the cost of the banner, if you put it only one organization on there, then it's on there.
Yeah.
And
I think we
I'm-
really ought to table all the discussion
For
for
next
Alex is here,
Right.
because as we generate, let him.
It may take a while to figure out.
Oh,
what's
it
the
will,
best,
but I
and
think
then
he needs to
money-wise.
be here because he has a lot vested and.
Yeah.
But it is kind of nice to talk about it without him here because he already has such concrete ideas and we're just throwing things.
Well, I'm just throwing it out,
To
I'm
the
saying,
wind, that's what,
yeah,
I think it's
But
fine.
I don't know.
think, I mean,
And we'll find out, yeah.
I don't know, Pam, does it make any sense to you, what we're talking about? The banners are good, but I'm.
I think you need to do it as a commission and just have everybody's voice heard, and so. I think you all would be able to sift through it more when you have your kind of your lead
Everybody,
on the banners here, so you can make progress.
and also, I don't even know now what, when we had those done, who knows, costs have gone up, so I guess.
Right.
We were
Right,
given
and
a
then if
budget
you
about
have-
this project. We were
Yeah.
given a budget about the
Yeah.
project, and the group at that time did approve what
Right.
was the
Right.
costs and what was happening. So it's not like it's been in the wind as an amorphous blob.
Right,
It
right.
has actually been pretty concrete, propositionally speaking. So again, if we want to reconsider what we've decided, I think that's what we're doing, is we're reconsidering something
Yes.
we've already kind of decided.
They-
And to do that, we're gonna have to.
Yeah, it all comes together.
And just
Yeah.
what I was doing, like I was paying attention, but I was like, I was doing some quick research to see if there were beautification grants going for like a municipal grant from a municipal league or something like that for beautification. If there's anything coming up in a upcoming cycle, and I didn't find anything, but a conversation with the bank is not unusual because they may have a specific grant that they may not.
No, that's true, it
publicize.
really is, it's just
that-
a thought.
Are they
Yeah.
getting money for any of our things like the Jazz Fest or anything like that? I'm just
I
wondering.
think I saw something, maybe one, but I guess I was just thinking about approaching them at one point after we have better discussion about the banner, but at some point, not only them, but the non-art people that are here. Like, okay, like next to Schnorr's, there's the law firm that's taken over, that's what I call it. They're taking over, wanted to like tear down the old house next to them. They have, and then they're using the Ozark for parking, and I'm like,
Have they been given approval of that?
Are you all ready to move on to the next subject?
okay, but anyway, what about that? I was saying, what about them?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunity.
The next subject is just the sculpture repairs. is what
Yes.
I've contacted Catherine again. It's been kind of busy at the museum. I've been assigned another department lately, so, but I will get back and call her. I just haven't had a kind of day, but But that's what I think we have to do. She's not responding to the emails. She could have a project going on, I know,
But
but
still.
I know.
I'm sorry. When you're asking for money, you should respond.
Yeah.
Well, these days.
Well, I'm trying to figure out exactly the status. I was under the impression that we had an agreement with her and a contract with her, and it was just a matter of waiting when the time was right. But I want to clarify that.
I think that's smart, because again, we've had so much shift in our membership that I think. We used to rely on the collective memory
Yes.
to help us understand what to do, but I think if we could become more documented
Yeah.
on this stuff, or have a specific section, a
Yeah.
file that has.
We need a
like Google
historian to reread all our minutes.
Oh my lord, that's a lot of minutes. Well, so next time, other than the. for
Well, there is an archive that you can go to. I was just looking it up. You can go to the archive on the
Yeah.
website and you can look up all the previous minutes of all the previous meetings. And a lot of this is actually available on that, so we could certainly do our homework before we meet the next time and figure out.
And we
know.
can talk more about then the next meeting about the banners themselves and how we want to proceed. And then, but we'll have Alex here.
I have two really brief updates, really brief other business updates. I know that we're over time. The first is Hawken House, open house.
Oh, that was lovely.
Dottie and I went to that and what a cool house. So yeah, it was a good event. That's the report.
It was a little weird though, because I thought
Those dolls were strange.
okay. I didn't realize it was
Would be about
simply an
weird
open
dolls,
house, shake hands with the house thing. I thought there was a little.
Gonna be a ceremony
ceremony
of
of some
dedication.
kind.
But was it, so what, I,
They redid the porch
Yeah, I know
and so
that,
they've
but
reopened the house. It's now.
how did they do the ceremony? I'm just wondering.
No
There wasn't
ceremony.
one.
It was just a
was just a
reception and
reception,
you go
no.
walk through the house and I.
It was fine.
It was
I
nice.
was under a delusion.
And then the last update is, Porch Fest was in our neighborhood and I found out about a week before it was happening, that it was happening when a neighbor texted me, said, hey, we're hosting a band. Could you come by? And, it was posted on the city's website, but I mean, I know that it travels to different neighborhoods. It was,
It wasn't well advertised.
yeah, and so I don't know anything about how it's organized, who leads it or
It
anything.
started
but-
during COVID.
It's Dave.
Yeah.
Dave, pretty much single-handedly.
Does he do the
It's totally
the
festive.
oak burr? Is he the oak burr?
No,
No.
no,
Borough.
but he-
Dave Buck
Did that happen
used
this
to
summer?
have his reading.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
I'm never here.
And he's just a supporter of whatever goes on in St. Leonard.
Okay.
And Sean Green, I think, did this before the porch thing started,
Because
because
of
he's
COVID.
been having all the concerts there. So he probably did that through the Historical Society.
Don't know. And when I tried to find like the list and everything online, I found more information about past year Porch Fest than this year's Porch
I
Fest.
think some of the whoever puts it
That's
on,
nice.
sometimes they're the ones, they just pay the band, that's what they do,
Yeah.
or, you know. They pay in cash.
So we need, if you all are ready, we need a motion to adjourn.
You're
Do
right.
we confirm our next meeting date?
We need artificial intelligence to do all this research.
I'm going to,
My assumption would be.
Okay, so see, the next time would be,
Usually the
we're
first
going
Tuesday,
to
right?
the meeting, Burroughs having their
Yeah.
100th year.
November
anniversary.
7th,
They're gonna
that would be
have
seven.
to
I mean, so if we wanna take, I think to
as a
Dottie's
lecture.
point, I'll be gone.
We're
and,
supposedly, we're only
I
using
think we
2% of all
commission
AI,
before
so
we
like
just
in
take up the banner.
10 years,
again.
and it's gonna
okay, so
use
but if
an
you're gonna be
insane
gone,
amount
we
of
shouldn't take it up,
Right.
You're gonna
we
be gone
should-
seven.
I'll be gone the 7th.
unless.
family.
Okay, so we have a motion to adjourn without me, but I just, we have a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
Yeah.
adjourn, yeah.
I can adjourn.
Okay.
Is used.
All in favor?
Ready, okay, so then what should we do, our
All in favor?
So he was.
We had a meeting because we had.
Can you even imagine, my sister's
Yeah.
a teacher
He
in
knows, it's
Africa,
just
and
we
she's like,
postponed the discussion on the banners.
now
until we could get
Until we get
people-
everybody.
students are
You wanna
writing
state
their
the
papers,
adjournment?
they have to check to see if.
So we have a second to
AI is
adjourn.
written them. They
Thanks,
can,
everybody.
they
So
can-
Jan,
'cause,
can
you
you
know-
declare us adjourned?
There's a
Yes,
motion
and
to
we are
adjourn.
adjourned.
okay,
Because
adjourn.
remember, we are being taped.
That's right.
All right.
So we have a motion and a second to adjourn.
Right.
All of.
Oh,
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so then we have a meeting on the 7th.